breaking down Liberty sports. This is the Patriot Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back on a Wednesday night to the High School Fan Zone. We're going to jump right into the Patriot Fan Zone because Parker Hicks got here quickly and early, which he's a young coach. He knows that you got to follow rules. And talking to two of your guys earlier, two of your grizzled old veterans, you have made an impact on them because the stuff they said, you could tell they've listened to Parker Hicks and they've taken it to heart.
Well, sometimes I don't know why they should, but that's good that they're learning something. One of my biggest things with them is if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, it's unacceptable. So
I think I've told you before, I played for one of those coaches in high school that if you're on time, that meant you were 10 minutes early. You thought you were 10 minutes early, but you were on time for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even today during practice, this morning during the athletic period, for whatever reason, our varsity guys weren't out there ready to rock, so I just started practice with the JV. So y'all want to practice, I'll practice these guys, and we got on the line and ran a little bit. So just some reminders every now and then. But, yeah, that's one of our biggest things. When practice starts. So.
No time to mess around.
Nope.
So two guys I talked to were Luke Livingston and Jackson Funk, who were the very first guys you ever had me talk to with your program. And they're perfect examples of how Liberty has grown and evolved as a school and athletic program. Luke told me he's added 40 pounds.
Luke is huge. And that's what my wife, Allie, she came to the first game. She's like, I can't recognize the kid hardly. So, yeah, that's just part of growing up, living in the weight room, wanting to get better to Luke. And then Jackson Funk's about 6'3" now, pushing 6'4". And so just to see the growth between them has been really fun.
Now, Joe Sexton may or may not be listening. He may not like this part, but I liked Luke's answer. He said the same thing Pierce said after the game I covered against Childress last week, that last year you had kind of a hodgepodge of different athletes who were just really good athletes who wanted to play some basketball with some basketball players in there. Now there's more basketball players who are basketball players. And I asked Luke, well, where do you fit? Were you a basketball guy who just happened to play football, or are you a football guy? And he goes, oh, no, I'm a basketball guy. I played football just to have fun. But he's a pretty good football player, too.
Yeah, he is. And, going back to last year, even though we have kind of some different guys and we've had some guys move on into their selective sports, they set the culture floor for even our returners and then our 5 newcomers that we do have. The ceiling's been high from the start, and it started with those guys. And, when we had those conversations with those guys about them wanting to focus on other things, it was like a thank you for what you did for us, and I'm going to support you like heck in baseball and football, but we're going to miss you. But at the same time, with who comes to the gym when it's day one, that's who we're going to rock with. We don't care if you're new, been there, but back to those guys that we don't have, they really helped get us started last year, and we owe a lot to them, even though they're not with us this year. And, now the expectations are a little higher. We've seen some success early with our group, but we just got to, our biggest thing right now is chasing perfection. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to chase it.
Well, I was talking to one of your fellow coaches about Chris Softly from Lubbock Christian, about the Lombardi quote about coaches usually know those better than that. You may not ever catch perfection, but you have to strive for it.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we talk about every day. We do a perfection drill. We know perfection is rare, but you'll always be running for it, So it'll always be running away from you, too.
Also, talking to those two guys today, the thing that struck me is how diverse your group is, because you're going to have – and basketball, I think, helped football. Football is going to help basketball because your guys that have been football players and the ones from last year, now they're going to – when they walk into a Levelland on a Friday night for a big game, it's not going to faze them so much that the crowd's big and doesn't like them. They're rooting against them. Now, you still got 3 freshmen who are going to have to get used to that because of the 8th grade games, there's not usually a whole lot of viciousness.
Right. And like you said, I think last year we jump-started it. We helped our guys out, I would like to think, when they played in big baseball games. Yep. Then it triggered over to football. And now we're back, and I don't know if I said it on this show or somewhere before, but we're really the first sport to start year 2 at a varsity level. And I was actually talking to Barry Newton, our offense coordinator, earlier today, and I said, y'all are going to see the success in year 2 like, we're starting to see. It's not like we want yet, but just the older the year of playing the varsity is just so valuable, and I'll never undervalue that again. But like you said, the 3 freshmen coming in, they're obviously gonna have big roles. We don't carry many guys, but 2 of those guys started and played in that last Friday night game at Levelland, and so you're hoping that experience they gained in football is going to help them when those big games come against Levelland or Estacado, whoever it might be. But talking about Coleman, Hendricks, and Cy Leach there, a freshman starting in a win or go home playoff game and played his tail off, he's got to take a lot of courage, and so I'm excited to see them continue to grow on the court like they did on the field.
Well, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those 2 and about the entire roster, because you guys have a unique blend of guys that was fun to watch the other day, and that was just game 2. Patriots are 2-0. They're just getting started. And we're just getting started with their version of the Patriot Fan Zone here on 100.7 The Score. We'll be back after the break.
Bringing you the latest news from Liberty Athletics. This is the Patriot Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. I'm with Parker Hicks to the left of me. If you're watching on TV, he's the much younger one. We both have good. We got into a discussion of follicles earlier when Jaden was here. It sort of went awry. Earlier, I was at the Gene Messer Shootout luncheon, and Paul Page, Kelly Robinson, and who was the third? Table was like, when you were younger and little girls would sit at one end and the guys with hair sat at one end and the guys that didn't have any hair sat at the other. I didn't point that out to Paul because Paul's very edgy.
Well, if he's listening, he may not.
He's too busy. I know he's. Kelly might be listening. I'm trying to think who the third guy. Well, I know who it was, and then Brian Gerlich showed up as well, so he slid to that side too. So it was kind of weird. But whether my hair is gray or it's falling out, I don't care. My wife knows she's stuck with me.
Yeah.
And when you marry a small town girl, as you know well, if you bamboozle them, you've got them for life. So
yeah, exactly.
I'd be actually going to now remind me. Your wife, is she related to Kyle Lovern, or are they just his wife? I mean,
his wife down the road somewhere.
Okay, because in Nazareth, I think
I couldn't tell you. Everybody's related somehow in Nazareth.
We talked. There's like 4 families.
Right, and we're going there tomorrow. So hopefully, that's the tournament we're going into.
Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about
which
that.
Is fun. Get a little family time, but if you're from Nazareth, you're either a Schulte, a Gerber, a Hyman, or Smicker.
We talked just last week. We talked about my late father-in-law used to say the Nazareth tournament. The main reason he would take his team would go to the concession stand at that tournament. What was he talking about?
The hospitality room, the cinnamon rolls they have for the coaches.
The cinnamon rolls.
Now the players don't know that, but
they
got good food. Those people know how to cook, and the in-laws are providing us lunch tomorrow after our game. So
nice. It'll
be a little fun time to get away and try to win some basketball at the same time.
Basketball, and we'll get back now to talk about basketball because that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
I can talk all night, though.
Patriots are 2-0, beat Plainview on the road in the doghouse, beat Childress at home, and I know Childress had just coming off their football run, but that was, I told my wife when I got home, I was like, that was as impressive a win early in the season as I remember seeing because you guys clicked from the get-go.
Yeah, we sure did, and we played really good Tuesday night, which Childress was. Granted, they were coming out of football, but at the same time, we're not going to let that be an excuse to go easy on them. Just from a competitive standpoint. But we, like you said, we just got kick-started. We started up 20-0, and when you do that, you're playing with confidence, you're having fun, and that just continued through the whole game. And I think I remember talking to you after the game. You asked me when we scored the season record in points. We said we passed it in the third quarter, but it's just fun for our guys to kind of get to play in that game and build some confidence, and we did play well, but we also watched some film and things we can get better at, and Childress isn't the ultimate goal, even though we owed them one from last year, but we got to move on to the next chapter.
The pressure's on now because before each game you've got to ride up there, start game ahead 20-0.
Yeah, that will never happen again this year probably.
They will win some games. I will tell you that about the Liberty Patriots. We talked a little bit about your dynamic. You have the 3 guys back, I believe. 3 freshmen, 3 guys back, and then Tookie Johnson from Friendship. Mm-hmm.
We returned Jaden Ellis from last year's team.
Okay, so more than 3 back.
We have 5 back with Colton Bouchard being hurt.
Okay.
5 back, and then 3 new ones. And then this weekend we're actually bringing up Cameron Colley, who's been playing on our JV. So we got almost 4 new ones for this weekend. 5 new ones, I guess, make 10. And so 5 returners, 5 new ones. So we're still learning, but hopefully some successful learning going on.
And Tookie has fit in very nicely, very quickly.
He has. He's been really a spark. He's kind of, I think, lit some of our guys up. Like, hey, we're here. Like, he's just been able to come in and contribute, and that's he's been great, because I tell him all the time he's in a different position than he's ever been before. He wasn't the oldest kid at Friendship, and now he's a junior or the oldest on the team, and so he's having to lead and find his voice. And so it's been really fun to see that from him. And then in practice, he's just one of those guys that leads by example. He's going, as hard as he can in every drill, and that's kind of setting the tone for everybody as we go. But I think that goes back to giving Paul Page credit for getting that kid to where he is now.
There you go. Since I made a bald joke, and I'm sorry, Paul, if you are listening here, I'll balance that out. Exactly what you said. I mentioned that to Tookie the other day, is he learned from good leaders at Friendship, and you guys are benefiting from guys who Holden Phillips, Maverick Allen, Patton Pinkins, Chase Campbell. He learned how to practice and then how to take that to games from those guys. Right,
and that's been the biggest thing, is he's kind of, like you said, been behind those guys, learning from them, but now he's got, Jeremy Bonet and Cy Leach learning from him.
Right.
Hopefully he can go play college ball somewhere, but he just kind of changes his leadership mentality.
Patriots are good. I'll say that again. I don't need to repeat it, but they will be in action up in the Nazareth tournament. We'll get Parker to come back on soon and talk more as the season gets going. Join us next week again on the High School Fan Zone Monday night.